favor by switching these to the default ports, because then you would end up with a conflict. So I'm going to keep these selections as the same, hit the next button, and choose the default location for my destination folder, and ultimately install this program. Now let me pause the recording one more time. And once it completes, you'll see that we can actually begin configuring the Vsphere web client with the Vsphere web client administration tool. Let me go ahead and finish here. I'm going to click the finish button here because we don't need this anymore. And you'll see it takes us to HTTPS localhost 9443. That's the HTTPS port that we were looking at just a minute ago, /admin-app. Now, this tool is only used to connect the Vsphere web client to the correct vCenter server systems and essentially to register that system with the Vsphere web client. If I click the Register vCenter Server button here, I can punch in my vCenter server name, which is 192.168.0.201 in my case, with my username and my password. I'll also need to put in the server name or IP address of the server that's hosting the web client, which in this case is also 192.168.0.201. If I hit register here, you'll see that it completes the registration, and I get the same certificate warning, just a little bit different than the one that I saw before. I'm going to ignore this just like I did last time, and it will complete the registration of this server. Here's 192.168.0.201. Now at this point you can see that we've completed the registration of the web client. If we want to actually go and access vSphere, what we need to do is go to this location, 192.168.0.201, 9443/vsphere-client. Just like before, you'll see we have a problem with the website security certificate. That same self-signed certificate is causing problems here. I can continue the website if I want, and this will actually bring forward the actual management console that is roughly equivalent to what you see in the vCenter server and with the vSphere client. Now in this case, I have to enter in my username and password, just like I did before, and log in. Same certificate once again. And this brings forth that management interface. Now, not every single functionality is exposed in this management interface, but most of the important management functionalities are. You can see here is a sort of a welcome screen that tells you, well, all the different things that you need to be aware of here in this vSphere web client screen. Once you've reviewed all the things that it has to tell you here, you can scroll to the right and choose Do Not Show This Page on Startup, and click the X button to bring forward the vCenter Management Console. Again, this is a console that you would want to give to people if you don't want to give them full access to the vSphere client. That vSphere client has all sorts of different functionality that it exposes, and if you're just looking to give someone the minimum of functionality to allow them to create virtual machines and work with their virtual machines and potentially even their hosts, this vSphere web client provides that minimal access for them without having to deploy the entirety of the vSphere client. So what have we talked about in this nugget? We've really talked about the introductory topics associated with installing and configuring your vCenter server. You're aware now of what those vCenter server editions are and also the availability options you could put together for making vCenter server highly available. And then we went through the process of installing vCenter server into a virtual machine and showing a little bit about the client plugin, seeing a log-on to the vSphere client, and then also the vCenter web client and why you might actually want to deploy this client out to the users in your organization. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank